So I've done a lot of talking about all these tools that I use to help overcome emotional issues, triggers, traumas, phobias, things like that. But what I've been getting is a lot of questions of like, what are the tools exactly and how the heck do I get them? And so that's what this video is going to be breaking down. So these are basically audio tracks that tap into our innate human superpowers to be able to reset. In ancient cultures, we had systems, we had rituals, we had ways to break the mental patterns and emotional burdens that we were carrying. But our current system just doesn't support that. It really tends to foster more of this long, drawn out process and slapping band aids on symptoms and things like that. So basically we're returning to our innate capability to reset things that aren't serving us anymore. So essentially, what these tools are audio tracks that combine all of the most powerful, effective aspects of the most proven modalities and bringing them all into one set of tools so that they're filling in for each other's weaknesses, building each other's strengths, and getting you more lasting results more quickly than any other modality tends to do by itself. So, the more modalities you can combine and the more strong aspects of those modalities that you can combine, the better results you're likely to see. And the more that's going to just really take hold and not be broken later on. Because I found that typically with other things that I used to use, I would get temporary results. I'd feel better for a while and then the thing would be back. Or I would feel a little better and then a little better and a little better, and it took forever. And so imagine being able to sit with something for 10 to 20 minutes with an audio track and move on and not have it bother you anymore. So that's really what these tracks are meant to do. And essentially, what they're doing, the function of these is to convince your subconscious mind that you're safe in the face of what it perceives to be a threat. Because that fear center in the brain is always scanning for what's missing, what's lacking, what could harm me, what could go wrong, what reminds me of something bad from the past, what's so different that it makes me really uncomfortable. And so it's going to set off all kinds of alarm bells when those kinds of things come up. And a lot of times it takes things that are just first world problems and thinks that they are survival level threats. So we're reacting to something that we logically know we don't need to be reacting to anymore or replaying over and over and over again. And so what these tracks do is help convince the subconscious you're safe so that that fear center doesn't have to set off the nervous system every time something comes up and sets it off. So then you're able to just move on from the thing and often prevent that trigger from returning again in the future because now you've resolved it at the fear center of the brain at its root. And so, okay, now you're going, well, that's great. How the heck do I get these tools? So that's the tricky part. Unfortunately, the tools are not quite yet available to the general public. We hope to launch the app soon. Spring or summer 2026 is the hope. But of course, we're a startup. And so, that always takes a little extra time beyond what we would hope for. So far, the tools are available to us and our private clients. And so you could apply to work with me if you really want to dive into the tools and be walked through every aspect of them. And eventually, we will have a practitioner training program and certifications and things like that that are available as well. So make sure that if you are interested in privately working with me, if you want to get informed when the app is live, if you want to be trained as a practitioner, make sure to go to my website and sign up for my mailing list because then, you'll be among the first to know when all of this goes down. But I would love to guide you through the process because what I find is that even when people have access to these tools but don't have direct guidance from a practitioner, they end up resolving one issue and then moving on instead of getting an entire life overhaul. Most of my clients, they don't just overcome a single phobia or a single relationship issue, or a particular trigger. They overcome everything that bothers them, all the limiting beliefs in their ways. They can program in new capabilities because there are tools for resolving emotional reactivity. There are tools for deprogramming beliefs that are no longer serving you and for beliefs that you choose to program in and also capabilities you choose to program in. And if you can get these things in on that subconscious level of the mind, you start to behave as though those are the truth. And it just helps your whole life unfold much more smoothly. So I find that where previously with tools like, with traditional talk therapy, it might take 6 months to a year to overcome or improve a certain issue. With the MDR, you might need 6 or 7 sessions to overcome a particular issue. Imagine being able to accomplish those results or better in 10 to 20 minutes. So, what does that open up for you? There's a whole capability to overcome everything because now, okay, whatever it is that's bothering you, whatever it is that's getting in the way, you can spend 10 or 20 minutes on it and move on from it for good. So imagine doing that. But most people, if they have access to these tools, will just use it on maybe their main issue or something like that. And they might get permanent results or they might get temporary results because they weren't good at stepping back far enough from the issue to figure out what the root was and applying the tools to the root of the issue. And so there's just a lot of service that comes with working on these tools with a practitioner because you get accountability, you get guidance, you get that external person who's not wrapped up in the trigger, who can clearly see where that originated and help you figure that out so that you can make sure to clear it for good and have it stay gone, but then also be able to work on a multitude of issues instead of just maybe your top one or two issues. Imagine how much your life can improve if you do that. So, just so you know, the tools are called Remind, Re-Mind, and I hope that the app will be available to the general public for use on, whatever issues really stand out. But if you really want help and you want across the board healing in every aspect of life, then you may want to just really jump in and work with me. So if you want to find out what that looks like, set up your free call or apply to work with me. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.